give me a signal عشان أغير اللغة لأن الترجمة واصلة. ف with your permission, I will switch to English very quickly. I would like to welcome all the ministers, Her Excellency Maryam Al-Sadiq, Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Engineer Hashim Hassan Rasool, Minister of Telecom and Digital Transformation, His Excellency Dr. Omar Al-Najib, Minister of Health, Her Excellency Ustazah Taysir Al-Nourani, Minister of Labor, the Governor of Khartoum, Ustaz Ayman Nimir, His Excellency First Undersecretary of Finance, Mr. Abdullah Ibrahim, Her Excellency Undersecretary of Justice, Ustaz Siham Usman, and Dr. Asam Abbas, representative of the Minister of Interior. The donor community, our guest, welcome. Civil society, representative of the private sector, and advocacy group, and representation of the banking system and the telecom operators. I would like to welcome you and take a few minutes to deliver the opening remarks on this. I hope it's going to be brief and to the point. As you know, all, this is for our guest coming to Sudan for the first time. This might be an unprecedented event that we have all this gathering of international, multinational corporations joining us in Sudan to help us in funding the digital transformation projects that we plan under the guidance of the Ministry of Telecom and Digital Transformation. As you know, Sudan has undergone a very great revolution, and we pray for the fallen heroes of this revolution, and we pray for those who are still missing, return home safely. Suffice to quote Mr. Andrew Gilmer, the Deputy Commissioner of the Human Rights, UN Human Rights, who said that the Sudan Revolution will go down in history as one of the greatest nonviolent mass protests of our generation. And that's a great testimony for this revolution, which will be alive despite the hurdles that are in front of everybody. As a result of that, we have a transitional government that installed, and despite the difficulties, it achieved landmark achievements. First of all, one of the biggest achievements of the cabinet of this government was lifting Sudan off the list of state of sponsored terrorism. That has happened, and that is a great accomplishment that returns us back to the community of civil nations. Second biggest landmark achievement to this government was signing peace agreements with our brothers and sisters in the rebel groups that provides a peaceful, conducive environment for investors. The third biggest achievement, in my opinion, was the courageous decision undertaken by the Ministry of Finance to unify the exchange rate recently and bring it in line of a way that can help us draw on direct foreign investments. And at last, I think the erection of a new ministry for telecommunication and digital transformation to orchestrate and oversee and coordinate the different components of the ministry. With all that said, we think that Sudan is now ready to receive multinational corporations and engage them in some conversations, hoping that we can reach some sort of agreements, memorandum of understanding, and then push it through to the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Sudan to go through the proper procedures of procurement as per our law. So let me start by saying that I'm the Director General of the NIC. The NIC is one of three organs underneath the Ministry of telecommunication and digital transformation. NIC law mandate is digital transformation and be the advisor for the government for the digital transformation process, together with the regulatory authority for telecom and postal, whose mandate is to regulate the telecoms and improve the services for telecoms. And then the last branch of the ministry is the National Authority for Digital Certification, which is the agency in charge of securing and authenticating the exchange of money, exchange of IDs, validating, making sure that things are up to bar in terms of the PKI. All right, so this is generally what it is. So why are we in this event? And what is the reason for this event? The reason for this event is to bring multinational corporations in touch with key decision makers in the various ministries with the hope that we can secure funding for digital transformation. Well, digital transformation for the audience is simply that we wanted to make things easy. But digital transformation is really way beyond that. It is the strongest accelerator for economic growth. First of all, I always like to give an example. Taking an example, and my typical example is me looking for some medication, driving the car, going to 6, 7 pharmacies to find the medication I'm looking for. If this is digitally enabled and I can do it from my mobile, in fact, I was in Egypt last week and I ordered it and it came and it was cheaper than going to the pharmacy, because when you order it, you don't need to build a pharmacy that's fancy and air conditioning. You just have a store and you deliver. It was almost 70% of the price of going to the pharmacy. But what does that do for us? Why is that important? That's important, first of all, because it saves your time. It's convenient, and therefore you're more productive. Second, it saves foreign currency, because I am driving, consuming 2 gallons of gas to do something very small like getting a prescription drug. Third, it reduces congestion on the roads and therefore reduces the possibility of having accidents, medical care, loss of life, and so forth and so forth. So it saves that. Third, it built some sort of database that gives us insight of what's happening, that help us plan better, make better decisions, and have strategic planning and data mining and insight in the data so that we can improve decisions that will allocate the resources the proper way, or in economic terms, that drive us to the equilibrium point easily. So digital transformation is very important, and this event is to enable that. Funding from the multinational corporations who have billions of dollars, and Sudan now become a very green, lucrative investment opportunity. So we bring them to get in touch with key decision makers. I'm very thankful for the great effort by Engineer Hashim Hasab al-Rasul. In the last 2 days, he's been on the phone constantly trying to rally people to come to the event and make sure that we have high-level representation that can engage with our partners. So my message to the government is that digital transformation is pivotal for economic growth. It is the accelerator for achieving sustainable development goals. And I respectfully think that digital transformation should be #1 pillar in the coming Paris conference, because that is the way that we can save money. That's the way we can create transparency. That's the way that we can accelerate development. And therefore, I think digital transformation should be the main pillar in the coming Paris conference. To the vendors, I say welcome. I'm very thankful for the great effort put forward so that we can make this event a success. And I'm very, very, very happy with the turnout of this event. And I hope that people find it very helpful and conducive. For the private sector, Sudanese private sector, I got a lot of messages and calls that why are we not invited. In fact, we invited representation from the Chamber of Commerce and invited من اتحاد أصحاب العمل, some members. We invited from the banking sector, some members as a representation. But as you know, The purpose of this event is really find multinational companies that can fund this event and put them in touch with government officials. That's the purpose. If we will open it, and due to COVID, we have limited space, we can't really afford doing that. But we encourage them to come and rub shoulders with the vendors, sign MOUs, get into partners, and we can assure you, since all the contracting comes through NIC, we can assure the local companies that there won't be any contract that will go a long ways if there is no local partner that at one point we need this system to be owned by us. So that is assured. But I hope that explains the many calls we get and the letters we get at the NIC to the private sector of the Sudanese. We just confined it to a very limited spaces, and that's the reason. So my last thing I want to say, I really wanted to thank the people who made this event possibility. Before saying, I must recognize certain individuals. As a matter of fact, this event started with a talk, an invite from an engineer who's been very helpful for us, Engineer Ahmed Ghandour from MTN Group, who gave me a call at about 8 and he said, there is somebody that I want you to meet because they're interested in digital transformation. So I came and met Mr. George Izzat. That was on December 2nd. And since then, we've been working on this from 7 to 1 o'clock every night to make it possible. So I would like to thank Mr. George Izzat for sponsoring this event. It comes as a zero cost to the government. I would like to thank Mr. Ahmed Ghandour, who is really the architect behind this. And I would like to thank everybody who made this possible. And I would say thank you to everybody for attending, and please forgive me if I missed something. It's just an opening casual remark to say you're all welcome. It is time to do business if we can. Thank you.